Hey guys, if you are seeing this video, I am assuming that you've seen part one of the video, and so I'm not really going to do an intro in this, but I'm just going to get into part two of this video where I talk about year three of me studying at a culinary school and just my experiences in third year. So if you haven't checked out the other video, please make sure that you do, because this part of the video is not going to make sense if you haven't watched part one. So I will see you in part one if you haven't watched that video, but if you've watched part one of that video, then let's continue. Year three was a very interesting year for me because I got to choose a specialization field in terms of what I wanted to pursue my career in, right? So the first three courses that you could choose from, right, and this obviously is up to you and what your strengths are and where you see yourself going. The first one was media communication. So all your Zolanenes, your Sibas, actually Zolanene graduated from ICA, just FYI. Siba was a media person. Herman Lensing, I think, I don't know, yeah, those are the media people that I can make reference to. Food photography, all of that stuff. And I was very close to choosing that actually. I just felt like, there was a better option for me. And then the other one was professional wine studies and events coordination. So this one is directly linked to wine studies, right? Learning the amount of wine studies that they do was incredible and it was intense, but it was wonderful to see. I think this was also one of my options because, staying in Stellenbosch, knowing that it's in the wine lens, there's Franschhoek, there's Paarl, Robertson's, that whole area, and even just going further out, knowing that it's such a booming industry, for tourism. There's a market, there's an opportunity there, but I think it wasn't for me because I just felt like it was something that I was a bit unfamiliar with, because I felt that a lot of the wine, the industry was white dominated, I guess, or I just didn't feel like I would fit in that space. And I think also with the media communication specialization field, I just felt like there were a lot of white Afrikaans people that are in that industry, and it's a connection kind of thing. So I just felt like maybe it's something that I also wouldn't really fit into. And then the third one is new product development, which was something that I did. And the reason why I chose this was because I wanted to learn something new entirely, right? And also the reason why I didn't choose media communication was because I felt that I already have a platform in which I had posted a lot of food content, right? And even before, what you see on my Instagram page now, I had a whole lot of food content I was posting on Instagram. I just had to archive it. But I felt like it wasn't really something that I would learn something new from. So that's why I decided to choose NPD, because it was a whole new world to explore in. It was very different. And I think a lot of people don't understand this industry. And it's also something that's, difficult to explain, because people are just like, what? So new product development is when you are developing products within a retail space. So it may not even necessarily be a retail space, but you are developing food products for a brand, right? If you think of Kellogg's, or if you think of McCain, or if you think of frozen pies, brands within that, or if you what example can I give? Even with drinks, with Auras, or with Coca-Cola, or with whatever kind of drink it is, Ceres, for example, there are product developers behind those brands. All these things that you see in shops, foods that are in shops, there are product developers behind that. The food does not just appear from Pick n Pay to the shelf, or from Checkers to the shelf. It does not work like that. There is a whole logistics. There's logistics behind that. There's a chain that's involved in getting those products onto shelves. So When I did my internship at Pick n Pay in 2022, I learned so much about product development. Literally, product development is, let's say, okay, Christmas is coming up, right? You have a concept on, and let's say if I work in the butchery section, right, in Pick n Pay, and I say, okay, Christmas is coming up, what festive meats can we develop? What festive meat hampers can we develop for Christmas? And we decide that we're gonna have gammon, we're gonna have porchetta or pork belly, or whatever, lamb and stuff like that. So it's like we're developing products for that, for your Christmas, right? So it's literally from concept, from testing the recipe, from making sure that it feeds a family, making sure that it is indeed festive enough. So what would make it festive? Maybe adding a kind of glaze to it, a brandy glaze, a cherry glaze, whatever it is, having that, because you know that in that season, there are a lot of families that come together to celebrate Christmas, to eat Christmas together. So you want to have that. Maybe even meat hampers, like you're going to have pickled tongue, you're going to have gammon, you're going to have like a beef rump and lamb. You package that. Okay, so what's the selling price for that? Why do you want to sell it at this price? Is it not too expensive? Is it not too cheap? Things like that. So what profit are we making at the end of the day? Even down to your design of the package. Okay, so we maybe gonna go with the red and green theme. We're gonna design it this way. We are the ones that are responsible for even the designs of packaging, of packaging on shelves. We're responsible for that. We're responsible for even finding suppliers to provide those meats, that meat hamper. We are responsible for that. We're responsible for even the marketing, those marketing labels that you see on shelves that say, try me, I'm new. We are the ones that brief that to the marketing team. We are the ones that have conversations with buyers, with suppliers, on negotiating prices or ingredients or costings or recipes. And we say, okay, no, we don't like your recipe, respectfully. Here's our recipe, you can use that. So it's a very well-rounded thing, and you don't only do one thing every day. It's very different. It's a different job every day. There's also the food technology part of it. What is the shelf life of this product? You know, so NPD is there's a whole new world behind it, and I'm so happy to have learned that field, and that is the field that I'm in today. If you go to Checkers, they have the house brand, they have Forage and Feast, they have other labels. They are product developers for that, right? Go to Woolworths, they are product developers for the Woolworths branded stuff. And you can even be a product developer at Tiger Brands, for example. Tiger Brands is it's an umbrella company, I think, in which Kellogg's falls under that brand. Jungle Oats, I think. I'm not too sure actually. I don't know if Kellogg's is there, but I know Jungle Oats, all of that stuff. So that's NPD. We also had theory and practical of advanced patisserie. We had the final year as well in third year, which was also quite hectic. Had to design a whole menu, create a menu. If you had to have a restaurant, like what, if you had to have a restaurant, what menu would it be? We had to create 3 starters, 3 mains, 3 desserts, and there was a theme around it. And then for the practical exam, we had to make 1 starter that we recommended, 1 main, 1 dessert. Excuse me. And yeah, that was basically it. And we also had to submit a thesis, a group thesis, in which it was like 500 pages, guys. Our thesis was 500 pages. There's a restaurant concept of, this is if you want to have a restaurant establishment, give us your proposal. You literally start from scratch. You start from, okay, what's our theme? How many items will we have on a menu? How many staff are we going to hire within the waiters, waitresses? How many people are going to be in the scullery? How many people or how many wines are we going to have? How big is the space going to be? How much is the rent going to be? How much are the lights? How much is the water? How much is whatever? And literally cost all of that. What are people's salaries? How much are we going to pay them? How much are we going to charge people on menus? on dishes, sorry, I mean, what kind of restaurant is it? Yes, it is a fine dining, but is it an a la carte where people can just choose, I want this, I want that, or whatever, or is it a set menu that they don't have a choice, they just get the one thing that's on the menu, So all of, like, when we got to the final year exam in third year, all of the stuff that we did in first year, in second year, even in third year, prepared us for that exam based on the minor subjects that we had. And that's why when you graduate from ICA, you are actually equipped to have your own establishment. Maybe it may not be at that scale of fine dining as yet, but it definitely is a very realistic goal for you to reach. And I don't think that if you don't have these other minor subjects, or you don't have these other subjects that you do, it will be a little bit far for you to reach it, because you have no idea of what it actually is or what it takes to run a restaurant. So I really that was my experience in the Institute of Culinary Arts. I think that in terms of the discipline, the expectations are quite high. They're quite strict. You need to know, what's happening. You need to know, what's going on. You need to be prepared. You need to be organized. In second year, we had a lot of assignments. Oh my days. And a lot of them were due on the same day. We had 6 assignments due on the same day. But it's not going to be a hassle if you planned ahead or if you were organized. It's not going to be a hassle. Even in first year, we had a lot of, every week we get homework, or we get assignments that are due the following week. These people at ICA test you. They put you under pressure, because that's how it is in the real world, It really tests if you want to be a chef or not. And that's how they make you stand out, not to be like any other person. Even hygiene, how are you working on your station if you're at a restaurant? Is it a mess? Do customers get turned off by that? Not even about customers, but you as a person. How are you working? Be neat, be tidy, be clean, be organized. So I really take a lot from that. I take a lot from ICA. I think it's really helped me a lot, as an individual. And then just before I wrap up this video, I just want to talk about the realities as well, the other realities of studying, in Stellenbosch. I think in my year, there were only about 3 or 4 black people in a class of 30 people, right? A lot of them are Afrikaans speaking. But I think in my first year, we didn't they definitely didn't teach in Afrikaans. It was because there are also other international students there as well. It's not just black and Afrikaans people. You find people from abroad or whatever that come to ICA to study. So none of that was really a thing, to be honest. But also there's also because us as black students, right? A lot of the other kids that were there were well off, right? A lot of them had their own cars, and you'd find that it was usually the black students that didn't have cars. And so, but what I can say is that the school is very supportive in providing or making lift clubs, right? So they find out where everybody lives, and based on that, everybody you can, so the person who has a car picks everybody up. You can make an arrangement of how much you pay them a month, etc., etc. That's your own thing. But what I can say is that the school is very supportive in promoting lift clubs to make sure that you are also able to attend school. So there is that support definitely from them as well, which is actually quite nice to see. And I think generally with a lot of the people in my year, everyone was nice. Everyone was willing to fetch someone. All the white people were willing to fetch someone. It was chilled. It was not even a problem. And I think, you know, with coming to Stellenbosch, sometimes there's a bit of like people feel a bit uncomfortable, people feel, you know, but not too sure of like, you know, Afrikaans people, racism, you don't really know. I mean, that's how we also felt on the first day. I didn't even know what to expect, like how the lecturers were, how the other students were. But there's support. There is a lot of support from other students, from other lecturers as well. And I'm speaking on my year. I don't know about the other years, but in my year, people were so nice. People were friendly. People were willing to help. And even with the lecturers as well. So yeah, I think that was quite good. I think it was, and even with the chefs as well. The chefs are so experienced. You know, having chefs that have run restaurants in different countries, some of the chefs having studied at the Culinary Institute of America, it's such a blessing, such a privilege actually to study at ICA, because there's so much knowledge, there's so much support, there's so much you can learn from, you know. And so I honestly like really feel blessed to have studied at ICA, for them to have accepted me, and to be where I am today, honestly. So I really enjoyed my journey as a chef in training, and here I am today as a qualified chef and a product developer. I was really tested. There were lots of times where I felt like I wanted to drop out. I didn't even think I was going to finish the course, honestly. It was super intense, super hectic. Felt like I just wasn't getting it, or I just felt like it was a lot. It really was a lot. But it's a fun school overall. We get to do lots of different fun stuff. I think especially in third year is so fun. Like you get to make croissants, get to make nougat, marshmallows, things like that. You know, in second year with advanced cooking, we got to make cheese, jams, cured meats, things like that. It was really fun. I think first year is very intense, but once you pass first year and you go into second year and third year, they become a bit, slightly, don't quote me on this, they become slightly less, they become slightly relaxed, and because, you know, they know you now and stuff. So also classes become a bit more fun as well. But in first year, they really set that standard and set that boundary. So yeah, that's the end of the video. But guys, please make sure to also check out the website for yourself, you know. Culinary school, by the way, is expensive. It's super expensive. It's not a joke. But yeah, check out the school for yourself at Institute. Sorry, I don't know what the website is, but it's just type Institute of Culinary Arts and it will pop up. So this brings me to the end of the video. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're on a goal, okay, to get to 3K by the end of the year. So I really appreciate you guys' help, you guys' support, even with just subscribing, okay. And make sure to check my page out on Instagram at Anya Satu, my other page at Nzuri Micrologs. And yeah, let me love and leave you, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao.